Welcome back. We appreciate you sticking with us. Are you like me? You live around these parts long enough and you look through the Sunday paper and you notice names, especially in the obituary section, and sometimes those names just stand out, and you have to continue to talk throughout the week about the legacy, the impact those people made on not only your life, but the life of the community. One of those names this week, James Caldwell. He passed away, and his son is joining us here on the Roundtable this afternoon. You and me, fellow St. Francis grads, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity. I know it has been a busy week for you. We are taping on Thursday. Obviously, a number of family members coming in over the next few days. We are airing on Sunday. But thank you so much for taking the time during what has been a tough week, I'm sure, but also kind of an inspirational week.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Let's talk about your dad. And, you know, most recently in the news, the center named after your father was the site for a conversation. A number of North Toledo residents trying to make sure the city does not forget about opening pools this summer in the North Toledo community. And it seems so apropos that it's happening there, and it resonates with so many people in the community, the work your dad put in to not only trying to better North Toledo, but also just trying to be a bridge for a better community in general. Do you agree?
I agree. My father was an individual who believed that your environment was what you made it, and if you took the time and the energy to make a positive commitment to that environment, pretty much you could do what you needed to do. And that was always his philosophy, and he worked hard not only in North Toledo at initially the North Toledo Community House and then renamed the James Caldwell Community Center to be a viable catalyst for change. And not only did he do that in North Toledo, but he did that with other groups throughout our community, the NAACP, the 50 Men and Women. He sat on a number of nonprofit boards, those kinds of things over his tenure. He used to sit on the Riverside Hospital Board of Directors.
Schools were important to him too, weren't they?
Absolutely, absolutely. And he taught at Woodward High School in North Toledo. So, you know, he had a history of being a catalyst for change, and certainly a lot of those efforts were directed toward the North End.
Yeah. As you look at his life in retrospect, in the last couple of months, he was in ill health, correct?
That's correct.
And when you go back, and obviously, I'm sure you've had well wishes throughout the course of the week. What sticks out for people the most, you think?
I think those who knew my father well, especially those who were directly touched by his life, a lot of the young adults to middle-aged adults now who actually went through the program at the Caldwell Center several years ago, a lot of scholarship recipients that were the benefactor from the 50 Men and Women organization with which he started. Yeah. A lot of the students that he taught at Woodward High School. When we were at ProMedica Hospice out on the Flower Hospital campus, as he was passing, I was 20 minutes late getting there from the standpoint of when we were notified, but the woman who was with him, he taught at Woodward High School.
No kidding.
So he touched a tremendous amount of lives in this community. Yeah. And, you know, it's been refreshing and both rewarding to get the phone calls, to get the text messages, the emails, those kinds of things, wishing us well and sharing some anecdotal stories that individuals had where he was concerned.
You are known to this community, your work with the Toledo Northwestern Ohio Food Bank, and as you do your work every day, it strikes me, I can't help but think your call to service was because of your father's call to service.
Oh, absolutely. You know, children are creatures of their environment, and my dad certainly impacted my life tremendously, as well as my sister's. And we were always taught to share and give back as we became adults in this community. And so there's no questions. He certainly had a tremendous impact on some of the career choices that I made and a lot of what I do today.
As people drive by North Toledo and they drive by the center and they see that name year in and year out as we move down the road, what are you hoping stands out for those folks when maybe they've got their young kids in the car and the kids ask, who is James Caldwell?
I hope they remember that James C. Caldwell, was a man who believed in giving back, and he had a viable impact in making the quality of life in Toledo a much better place, specifically the North End.
Yeah.
But as certainly he got older and his involvements became a lot wider, Northwest Ohio as a whole.
And I'm glad you said that, because he didn't look in just one community, one people. He looked to make all of those connected, didn't he?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, my dad believed that to be effective, you had to make a commitment and make some meaningful inputs into a process to extract some outputs. And certainly, as I've evolved in my own career and life, I reflect upon those core values on a regular basis. And sometimes when you're trying to do good, as he would say, and people seem to want to fight you, you have to smile in spite of and still keep going forward.
James, thank you so much for taking some time to share with us the best of you and your family.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Stay right there. We'll wrap things up for this Sunday right after this.